Hi everyone, how you doing today, and welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to be doing a review for the HBO series The Last of Us. Now, if you don't know, The Last of Us HBO series is based off the game The Last of Us, which came out on PS3 about, what, 10 years ago right now? Or 9.5 years ago, and it was revered as one of the best games ever made. I've played it and I think it's one of the best games ever made, and I would say that it's a game where you tell someone, hey, this is video games as an art, you show them The Last of Us, the video game. So coming into this show, I was a little bit nervous, but then I did have faith as the production started to get closer to release, as Craig Mazin got announced and Neil Druckmann got announced, and then Pedro Pascal got announced as Joel, and then Bella Ramsey got announced as Ellie, and everything just seemed like it was going into the right path. So I was like really hopeful, but I did have a little bit of doubt that this could be mid. As I've said already, the video game is one of the best video games ever made, and it's called art. And I would also say that this TV show is one of the best TV shows I've ever seen, and I'd also call it art. This show is absolutely incredible, and they've killed it, Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, in so many aspects. And the fact that even though a lot of people might complain and say that, well, maybe not complain, but it's literally a one-to-one retelling of the game. I like the fact that they did that because the game story is already so incredible, so why fix something that isn't broken? This show, I feel like, should be a lesson in terms of adaptations for other shows, games, anime, etc., because you don't have to change everything in order to translate something into live action. All you have to do is take the most important parts, especially mainly the story, and then just see if you can elevate it in live action or make the changes in order to fix live action. And what this show does so well is it basically follows that formula. There are also literal words and literal scenes and shots that are ripped straight out of the game into the show, and it works so well because the game was pretty much set up as a movie, and it seems like Craig Mazin understood that. And what I liked as well about this adaptation is stuff from the game that could have been expanded. They expanded, and it actually made sense for the world of The Last of Us, and it actually gave added depth to characters that I didn't think would need more depth. And also on top of that, anything that they reworked or switched up the character or the story worked incredibly well, and I would say this is evidence with episode 3. Episode 3 was such a ridiculously incredible episode. Even though I'd say it's not the best episode of the season, in my opinion, it's between episode 5 or 8. Episode 3 showed one of the characters that I didn't really care about in the game, but they showed them having a completely different story, and an even better story that gave me more hope into seeing more stories from the world of The Last of Us that don't revolve around Joel and Ellie. And speaking of that, let's talk about Joel and Ellie. Pedro Pascal plays Joel and Bella Ramsey plays Ellie, and both of them did an incredible job in translating these characters. I wasn't scared, I won't lie, because when you're seeing a character you already played as and you know and love from the games get translated into live action, I'm usually skeptical that the actors will kill it because it's so hard to just replicate. But Pedro and Bella did a fantastic job of doing that, and also making the characters their own in this form of medium. Pedro's Joel does not feel like game Joel, but he does feel like game Joel in certain aspects. It does the same thing, same line of dialogue, and you understand his motivations exactly the same as the game, but the way Pedro acts as Joel, in terms of mainly, I would say, his more facial movements and the way he's subtle with his acting, he shows a different layer of Joel, a more vulnerable side of Joel, and I really like that we saw that, because in the game you feel like he has his vulnerable moments, yes, but you more or less feel like he can get the job done. But in this one, he feels way more weakened, way more older, and I actually really like the changes. I liked how Bella Ramsey translates Ellie in this story, because you see Ellie slowly turn into the Ellie that we're going to see in Last of Us Part 2 based off the game. And I feel like it was translated more in this show better, because you see her literally transform episode by episode, compared to in the game, she's literally popping people from the get-go. The other actors acted their socks off. The fact that we even got actors from the game playing either their characters or different characters in the show was also very beautiful. Music was incredible. Directing was incredible. Everything about this show screamed top tier quality HBO show, and I'm really excited to see what awards it gets nominated for and the future of this show, especially with The Last of Us Part 2 being adapted into more than one season. I feel like this game, right, did what every adaptation should do, in the fact that it not only does a fantastic job of translating the story that people love and care about, but it also promotes the game. I would say The Last of Us Part 2 now, I'm more inclined to play it, because watching the show and the fact that they added the tie-ins for The Last of Us Part 2 in this show makes me appreciate The Last of Us Part 2 story more. I couldn't believe I'm saying that, because I was half and half of the story. So I really want to replay it again, and I feel like I'll have a more open mind when playing The Last of Us 2 based off the show. And that's what adaptations should do. This is what anime to manga is. They adapt a manga in order to promote the manga sales, and usually what happens is when an anime kills it, the manga sales go up in as well. So I'm expecting Sony to continue this trend, especially with The Last of Us doing so well. I feel like God of War and Horizon will eventually have that boost. Hopefully they kill it with the shows. But advice for those people who are doing those shows, please follow exactly what Craig Mazin and the Last of Us team did. Just adapt the stories, because the stories of both of them are actually very well told. So just adapt the stories bar for bar, make the changes if you need to, and expand on that world. I'm excited to see what they do with Horizon, because there's a lot of expansion of that world you can do with stories in that world. God of War, I wouldn't say as much, but I'm excited to see what they do with God of War. All in all, man, this show is an absolute massive W. I'm really happy that we got it. It had me crying pretty much every week. It's a massive tearjerker, and it had me also really excited to see more and more from this show, even though it's a story that I've already played. So all in all, right, what score do I give The Last of Us? Here's the thing. Technically, I should be giving it a 9.5, but I'm going to give it a 10, but it's a very low 10. It's a very low 10. And the reason why I have to give it a 10 is I don't really have any faults with this show. Okay, they could have been more infected. That's about it. But other than that, they gave me everything I could have wanted from a Last of Us TV show. Literally everything. There's nothing else to check off apart from more infected. And even then, I understood why there was less infected, because The Last of Us is mainly a human story. I know it's an infected world with quote unquote, well, not really zombies, but zombie type of world. So obviously people were dying from zombies, but I do love what we got, and the human aspect is mainly what I came for. So in terms of that, and the fact that the show was very well directed, a lot of the episodes I was like, man, this is a 10 out of 10 or 9.5 at least. So all in all, I'm going to give season 1 of Last of Us a 10 out of 10. The reason why I say it's a very low 10 is because I still feel like there's a lot you can improve on. Well, maybe not a lot, but there are aspects you could have improved on, like the more infected. Some story aspects from the game I feel like should have been in the show because it would have elevated the story. Maybe Joel and Ellie, it felt a tiny bit rushed that they liked each other so much compared to in the game. You go through so many experiences that you're like, oh my God. Like, you know, when you have that padding of gameplay, it does add that, does make that relationship a lot stronger. So very understandable, because that happens when you translate a game to TV. The gameplay is going to be removed. But all in all, man, I really enjoyed what I got. Thank you very much for watching this review for The Last of Us. I'm going to have a longer review where I'm going to talk spoilers on the Dropped in 3 channel. So if you like that, check here or wherever, and also in the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching again. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more on pop culture and entertainment. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and I'll see you soon. All right. Bye.